agenda of gender blurring now rules society. But that isn't God's design for women. In 1 Timothy 2, verses 8 through 15, Paul clarifies the 4 marks of Christian womanhood, and they're far different from what secular culture demands. First, Paul clarifies a Christian woman's style. In 1 Timothy 2:9, he writes, "I want women to adorn themselves with proper clothing, modestly and discreetly, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly garments." And ladies, the words Paul uses here refer to our physical and spiritual ordering before we leave the home. Specifically, that we're modest, humble, and not sensuous. On this point, I often tell my own daughter to look in the mirror before she leaves home, asking the question, does my style of dress bring glory and attention up to God or down to my body? Second, Paul touches on the Christian woman's sincerity. In verse 10, he continues, "But rather by means of good works, as befits women making a claim to godliness." And here he switches from the negative, what not to do, to the positive, what to do. Meaning, instead of our flaunting our feminism, we are to present something different, specifically the beautiful virtues of faith, hope, and love. This too is something we must teach our daughters, that Christian womanhood is not merely putting off our old ways, but also putting on our new life, including offering our body as a living and holy sacrifice to the Lord, because we aren't just a clump of cells like evolutionist tells us, but we are handmade princesses of a mighty king. Third, Paul speaks to a Christian woman's silence. In verse 11, he adds, "Let a woman quietly receive instruction with entire submissiveness. And I do not allow a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man, but to remain quiet." And dear sisters, the only thing that will rile us about this verse is our flesh, because Paul is actually describing a wonderful reality, that though we are equal to men in our value, we are beautifully unique in our role. And so there will be harmony in marriage and in the church. And also notice he supports this by pointing all the way back to the Garden of Eden, stating in verse 13, "For it was Adam who was created first, and then Eve." And this means that we don't carry our unique role because of the culture we live in, but rather because of God's very creation itself. God literally made the man to be a leader and made us to be his helper. And that's why our greatest fulfillment and highest joys will always culminate in the role of obedient wife and mother. And that's why he finishes with the Christian women's significance, concluding, "But women shall be preserved through the bearing of children, if they continue in faith and love and sanctity with self